You ever notice how the minute you start growing and changing, everyone around you kind of starts squinting at you like they don't recognize you anymore? You set a boundary and somebody calls you selfish. You skip the wine at book club and somebody says, "You're no fun anymore." You talk about new dreams and they tilt their head like you just said you're moving to Mars or something. Let's be honest, growth isn't always greeted with applause. Sometimes it's met with silence or sarcasm or straight up resistance from the very people who claim to love you. When I made the decision to leave a 30-year career in education and leadership, a career where I had title, salary, respect, to step into the unknown and build my private coaching practice. Let's just say the eyebrows were raised. Some of them stayed raised for weeks, some of them are still raised. People knew me as the steady one, the fixer, the systems girl. They didn't know what to do with the version of me that said, "I want to help people transform. I want to blend behavioral science with soul work. I want to coach, create, live on purpose." Even those closest to me struggled to understand, and that was painful, not because I needed their permission, but because I had always been mirrored by my environment, and now that mirror was cracked. What I've learned, and maybe this will help you, is that change rarely happens in a straight line. It happens in spirals. You revisit old patterns, you come back to old rooms with new eyes, and sometimes you outgrow people, places, even entire systems. Not because you're better, but because you're becoming. It's like the butterfly halfway through metamorphosis. Everyone still sees a caterpillar, but you're already forming wings. So what do when your environment doesn't support the change that you're trying to make? When your coworkers roll their eyes? When your family asks, "What happened to the old you?" Or your partner quietly resents the version of you that no longer self-abandons to keep the peace? That's not just uncomfortable, it's a behavioral mismatch. Your internal reinforcement is pulling you forward, but your external environment is punishing you for your progress. Here's where the science comes in. This is not just about mindset. This is about systems of reinforcement. Behavioral science, especially applied behavioral analysis and habit formation, teaches us that behavior is shaped by what follows it. If you're trying to become someone new, but the people around you ignore or resist your new behaviors, you're going to feel pulled to revert. Not because you're weak, but because that's how our nervous systems are designed. So let's talk about some practical tools. First, create artificial reinforcement. If your environment doesn't cheer you on, you must learn to cheer for yourself. Track your wins. Speak your progress right out loud. Leave yourself voice notes. Set up systems that reward the behavior you're trying to build. 2, engineer microenvironments. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start by shaping really small spaces that support your growth. A desk with affirming post-it notes. Go for a walk and listen to transformational podcast. Join a group chat with people that are also breaking old cycles. 3, use behavior chains to break through resistance. Every behavior is linked, and if you know that journaling before bed helps you sleep, but your partner is mocking your self-help phase, stack it with something rewarding. Journal, cozy tea, favorite playlist. Make the new habit stronger than the static in your surroundings. And here's the thing. You were not born to stay the same, and you don't need everyone to get it, love it, or understand it. You need you, consistent, clear, and committed. I always tell my clients, if the environment doesn't support the change, you become the environment. You become the space where growth is honored, where boundaries are respected, where your future self is safe to emerge. If this landed for you, I'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment below. Let me know what kind of change you are trying to make and who's struggling to accept it. And if you want help turning that resistance into fuel, subscribe here. Because Tales from the Inside is where we turn behavior into becoming.